Hey everybody, this is David Wolf with Our Paramotor Nation. Welcome to tonight's pre-show. Hope you're having a fun time chatting with other paramotor enthusiasts watching with you right now. Hey, I just want to take a quick second and just thank everybody who supports the show, whether you're a sponsor, whether you're a Patreon, whether you're doing a super chat during the show. And some people have asked me how to become a Patreon and how to do super chat, so I wanted to just talk about that very briefly. All you need to do is click on the little button down here at the bottom right of the screen. You can go ahead and pick out any dollar amount you want to donate to the show and leave a comment as well. I'll read it on the show for you. If you'd like to become a Patreon, you can go onto the website, ourparamotornation.com, and there's information to fill out there. All right, we're just going to start the show here in a few moments. So I talked about the sponsors. Let's hear about them right now.
Welcome to Our Paramotor Nation. Tonight's show is sponsored by Fly My PPG, offering a full-service paramotor training experience with 3 on-site instructors and limited class sizes. Florida Flight Sports, year-round training at your truck training headquarters. You can do this. PPG lights make one heck of an impression with countless patterns and colors on your paramotor. Lone Star Paramotor has become one of the most sought-out paramotor schools, offering foot launching and trike training classes and much more. PPG Zone, one stop for everything you want to know about the paramotor scene, where fly-ins are happening, and so much more. Aviator Paramotor is a cornerstone for paramotor training while offering its students some of the top paramotor equipment. Fly PPG Discovered Power Paragliding has helped people from around the world get into our great sport. Wisconsin Flight Sports, they make it affordable and accessible for you to get your paramotor training. Charlie Soap, an all-natural laundry detergent and household cleaner, are like no other. One-Up Adventures and ParamotorProps.com, sharing their passion for flight on adventures around the world. Skylab Paramotor SIV, teaching paramotor pilots of all skill levels collapse recovery and advanced maneuvers. True North Paramotors are American-made, lightweight, cutting-edge, fully customizable paramotor frames, complete units, wings, and accessories. Check out their website today. Blackhawk Paramotors USA's mission is to produce the safest, most powerful, and most reliable powered paragliding equipment in the world. Paraswag USA, your complete powered paragliding gear source. iFly Indiana provides USPPA certified powered paragliding training on your equipment or on theirs for prices as low as $2,500. Wicked Wings logo can help you have a one-of-a-kind glider with one or multiple colors. Visit the Our Paramotor Nation website. Check out the upcoming shows, the past shows, and all of its sponsors. And now, let's get started with this episode of Our Paramotor Nation.
What is happening, everybody? How are you? Welcome back to Our Paramotor Nation. This is the show that almost didn't happen because about 20 minutes ago, I got to my house after a 6.5-hour drive from Chicago, Illinois. This microphone may fall over, and we are just barely getting this thing set up. What time is it? 9:07. So we started about 3 minutes. So about 4 minutes late. Not too bad. Not too bad. And I hope everybody had an amazing 4th of July. I hope you got a lot of flying in. I know we're getting some crummy weather. This microphone's still following on me. All right. We're making it work. In the meantime, here to save the day is Johnny Gaspara Ripa Mama Ripa. Let's see here.
Hello.
What's
How's
up,
everybody
buddy?
doing?
How are you, John?
Doing fantastic. You had a big drive today, huh, Dave?
I've been up since 5:30, dude. We had 2 different lacrosse tournaments going on at the same time in Chicago. It's been a heck of a weekend.
You made it, and I'm sure everybody's happy that you made it.
Addison's next to me. She's putting names in. She just got done with playing a couple amazing games of lacrosse. She's putting names in the chat there. We'll give something away tonight later on at the end of the show. Johnny, who's going to be on the show next week?
So next week, I believe we're going to have Brian West from Austin Paramotors.
Awesome.
So Brian's been flying a long time. I'm sure a lot of people do know of Brian.
All right. So tonight, the show is called Complacency is Devastating. You know, I don't know if you know this about Saturday Night Live, but Alec Baldwin has been the guest host more than anybody else. I think it's between him and Steve Martin, but I think Alec Baldwin has more. I don't watch it anymore, but he's been on as the guest host. And the person that's been the Alec Baldwin to us is Kyle Mooney, and Kyle is here tonight as well. Kyle, how many times have you been on the show? Have you lost count at this point?
You know what? If you're going to compare me to Alec Baldwin, I'm totally okay with that.
All right.
So no, and I yes, I've lost count. So, but it's good. It's awesome. I like being here.
Hope everybody in the chat is doing fantastic. Because we've been setting up this thing here just as quickly as we can. I can barely read the comments. They're like super, super tiny. So if you do have a question for any one of us tonight, throw it in the chat. Make sure you start off with my name so it highlights and that I can click on it and bring it up on the screen, and then I'll be able to read it. All right. So Kyle's here for two different reasons, two different topics we're going to talk about tonight, and really anything goes. One, of course, is safety, which has been a big topic on everybody's mind lately. I know Robert talked about it last Thursday and the Thursday before. So we're going to talk about complacency is devastating because every once in a while we get a little complacent. John, you have told me this several times that at some point I'm going to have, what did you call it? Something syndrome.
Mid something syndrome. I forgot.
Do you know what that's called, Kyle?
We call it intermediate syndrome.
That's right.
That's generally when you first start flying. But yeah, once you've been in it for a long time, complacency. That's what it is.
Get Richard Branson on a show as a guest. Okay, that's good. Let's see his ankle, Kelby Cox says. Right off the top. I mean, my gosh, you go right for the guts,
Roll
Kelby.
it on up, Kyle.
You know what's funny, though? It's actually good now. I was on the field training today. I talked up, I'm here at Fly My with Justin and all the guys, and we talked Justin's daughter and her friend, 13 and 14. We had 5 girls fly this week.
Wow.
One 13-year-old, one 14-year-old, and they did phenomenal. I was out on the field talking them up. We did tows. We have a new class today. I did kiting. I mean, I'm out there. I'm running. I'm not running, but I'm around.
Well, let's talk about. And by the way, if you want to, Chris, if you want to get Richard Branson on the show for me, I'm all for that, man. That's cool. Let's do that. So Kyle had an injury, and let's talk about that first. And then the other thing we're going to talk about is what Kyle is going to be doing at Oshkosh here in just a very short period of time. Kyle has been flying for how many years?
Almost 10.
Almost 10 years. He's been an instructor for how many years?
4-ish, something like that.
Feels like longer. No?
Yeah, it feels like. I mean, I've trained more students in those 4 years than most do in like 10. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Any clue how many thousands of students you've trained?
I couldn't even.
A couple hundred.
Not thousands.
I know.
1,400 and I don't know. I'm just kidding. I have no idea. It's a lot.
All right. So this is the big question. Some of you have already seen Kyle's video that he put out talking about his accident. Kyle had an accident, but here's the crazy thing. He has never had an accident before, right?
Nope.
Yeah. And how long has it been since you've had even a failed launch?
Year and a half, give or take, on motor.
And how many people can do an infinite tumble in this country?
I don't know. My best guess is 2 because I only know 2. Me and
John Ripa apparently is.
And Ripa, yeah.
All right.
I taught Ripa.
So, Chris, who are you? Kyle is undoubtedly one of the best acro pilots in the country. He is
Paramotor acro pilot.
Yeah, we didn't mention too. He does work for One Up Adventures. So, in case you didn't know, they're one of the sponsors of the show. He is an incredible acro pilot. He's a high risk pilot, but yet at the same time, he's also a very safe pilot too. Would that be safe to say, Kyle?
Yeah, I base it around just being safe. That's how I've been able to fly for this long and do what I do and stay safe about it. I make calculated risk choices, which we all do at some point or another, like, doing whatever we're going to do. And yeah, I would agree with that. My goal was to learn the infinite, never throw reserve. And I did that. And I still haven't thrown one because I haven't had to. And that was my initial goal.
All right. So why don't you just to fill everybody in, tell us about this accident happened, where you were. Just go through it.
All right. So yeah, we'll start at the beginning. So, we always like to teach that, not one thing leads to an accident, and that's correct. There's not one thing that you did that led to an accident. So what happened? It was 2 weeks ago tomorrow, actually. So 13 days ago. It was beautiful out. The weather was great for the entire week. Excuse me.
I'm sorry. Can you repeat that? What was that?
It was good. The weather was good for the entire week.
Live shows.
I know it. I know
Can we
it.
block that out?
No, I don't think we will. That's priceless. That may show up on the
That was
blooper
good.
list at the end of the year. Most memorable moment on a show by a guest.
Right?
Blah.
I didn't even mean to. But yeah,
right.
so I went out to fly. It was beautiful. I had, nothing on my mind. Everything was good at home, work-wise. It was just going great. And I was like, it's beautiful out. I'm gonna go fly. So I took off from my home field in Thief River Falls, Minnesota, which is about 60 miles from Canada. We're actually moving back to Florida soon, but that's where I'm flying now. And I took off. Everything was good. I was ripping around, having a good time. And people have seen me fly, and yeah, I do tip drags and stuff like that, but this was not that. I had no intention of doing that. What I did was I was flying around. It's actually a barley field. I thought it was a wheat field, but one of my best friends is a farmer, and I brought him a piece of what was in my wing, and he said it's barley. Okay. And I was flying. I made a right turn, and I came down over the field at about 4 or 5 feet or so, and I decided that I wanted to head back north to head to the soccer fields and do some foot drags and just have some fun. And so I hooked a hard left turn full power, and it was just a turn. That was my intention. I've done thousands of turns at full power. That's just how I fly. And when I turned, as we all know, fields are never flat. If you ever look at a field of any kind, it always has some sort of, the crops are never perfectly even. I don't care what it is. And it's not an excuse. I just got complacent. And when I turned, I felt the wingtip touch, and I was completely sideways when it touched. And I felt kind of like anybody who's ever done a tip drag can tell you that you feel kind of like a tug a little bit. And this was much more than that. And it happened so fast. We all think like, that's never going to happen to me, or I don't do that, so it won't happen. I was making a turn. I had no intentions of doing anything other than turning, climbing at full power, getting over the power lines, over the highway, and to the field. I turned, it caught the barley, the wing did, and it just swing sideways. It caught the barley, curled it back, and sent me nose first into the ground. I don't know how fast I was going. Best guess, 30 to 35. I mean, that's about how fast you move when you're doing that, because if you ever watch somebody do a tip drag, they're moving. But like I said, I wasn't trying to do that. And I came down, and I fly with as we teach, my legs were crossed and my legs were underneath my seat. And I didn't stick my legs out like you might see somebody do if they're going to crash. They stick their legs out to stop the impact. I hit the ground. My leg was under me. I bounced. I pulled right brake and dumped power as I was about to crash. And I think that definitely helped. But I hit the ground really hard. I kicked back. I did a front flip, and I landed on my back. At that point, my adrenaline was pumping. Right before I hit, I remember what I said. It was a 4-letter word. It started with an F. And that's all I said. Because I knew what was about to happen, and I knew that it was going to happen. So that was the scariest moment I've had flying yet.
Did the barley cushion you at all?
It might have. I think it was more so the outside brake and dumping the power. If I would have held power, it would have sped me up actually as I went in, versus, I slowed down a little bit. And I did pull brake, but obviously it wasn't enough, clearly. I hit the ground, did the flip, landed on my back. First thing I did was I wiggled my fingers and toes. Very first thing I did, because that's all I could think of. When that was done, I'm gonna hit Justin because he's outside the window jumping up and down like a frog. And then I did that, and I could feel everything except for my right ankle. My foot felt weird and warm and kind of goofy, and I lifted up my right leg, and my right ankle was my foot. If my foot was straight, instead of my ankle being like this, it was cocked 90 degrees to the left, give or take. So I thought for sure I broke it. So first thing I did, I knew I was okay. I knew I messed up my leg, and that I owe $10. I got you. And so what I did then was I pulled my ear cups off. I called my dad. I said, Dad, I was shaking. I called my dad and said, hey, I crashed 2 miles north in the field right across from the college. Come get me. And then I called my wife and said, hey, I'm okay. I'm injured. I got to go to the doctor, but I'm okay. And she said, okay, sounds good. I was like, all right, bye. And, she was good. I told her I was okay. And then I reached down for my ankle because I couldn't get up because I couldn't stand on it. I reached down, I grabbed it. There was no feeling in it. So
Mm.
I've seen it in a movie and on YouTube videos. I just took it and it didn't hurt and I just twisted it and it popped back into the sock.
Yeesh.
Yeah, it was just like you would see in a YouTube video when somebody dislocates it and it's like, that's disgusting. That's exactly what it looked like. I popped it back in. I stood up and I was walking. It hurt to walk, but I was walking. And then I had the neighborhood was there, but there wasn't. I couldn't see anybody watching. It was just me flying. I had a guy come out in a truck, and I saw him coming up, and I knew him. He was a firefighter EMT. I've known him since I was a kid.
Wow.
He comes up. He was out there within 60 seconds. By the time I stood up, he was already out in the field. And he's like, he called 911 and, you know, did that whole thing. And then the cops showed up. It was a huge thing. And cops showed up and they're like, yeah, ambulance, he's here. I said, no, turn him around. I can walk. I feel fine. I'm coherent. I'm good. I'm not paying for the ambulance ride. They left and actually helped lift up my gear in the glider and put it in the truck and do all that. And then I went to the doctor, got an x-ray. And they're like, no, it's not broken. I was like, you sure? Because it was about this big. It was roughly the size of a grapefruit. After that, and then it was rough. I lost my really expensive headphones, sadly, because when I opened my ear cups, they had fallen out. Funny thing, I went back the next day, and my mom was with me, and I found them in the middle of the field.
That's crazy.
So that was cool. And then I went back actually right before I left for Michigan early this week, got another x-ray and they confirmed that it was just a sprain, no breaks. And I don't know if it was, I hate the word luck because I feel like that runs out. I'd rather not rely on that, but I feel like that was part of it. That kept me safe, honestly, because if I know if I would have stuck my legs out, I would not be walking around.
Yeah.
Just because of how hard I hit. So, you know, I'm not going to say I made that choice consciously to keep my legs out. It just happened so fast. I had no time to react. It was just tip, ground, boom. There was no time at all. And I've gotten a lot of really great feedback, and messages and stuff like that about the video. And, you know, guys saying, hey, you know, I appreciate that. And it makes me second guess it, which is good. That's what I want. I want people to understand that this wasn't me showboating. It wasn't me trying to do something that I've never done. It wasn't anything. I was making a turn and it just happened to touch on the wheat or the barley or whatever. And it just grabbed it and threw me in. So, you know, it sucks, but I mean, I'm walking around, I'm triking. I flew trike yesterday. It was awesome. My first flight since. That was great.
Nice.
But yeah, the complacency is what got me because I've done it thousands of times. I've done wingtip drags hundreds of times, you know. It was just the complacency of I've done this. I'm just going to turn. And I was just a little low. And it could have been way worse.
Oh, yeah. First of all, got to appreciate that Kyle, not just only coming on the show, but also that he puts out this video within just a couple days, a day, maybe.
It was 14 hours after.
14 hours after, because he didn't want to hide behind this and really, you know, what a great advocate of our sport to get out there and say, hey, look, even me, who's been flying for almost 10 years, who's, you know, can do things with a paramotor that most people in this country cannot do, I can make a mistake too, and here's why you need to be careful. It gives you two things that you have in common with Conor McGregor. In this past month, you both have snapped an ankle, and you both can't stop cussing. So good for you, man. Good for you.
That's just how I talk. I'm sorry.
It's all good. So very good. Yeah, that just happened. Conor McGregor. Wow. So first of all, I do want to say thank you to a former student of yours, DP. He says, I just hear the wing just barely touched it. Ayo. And he made a $10 donation to the super chat. DP, thank you so much, brother. Really appreciate that. Let's see. Chris Fennemer wants to know how long after the crash was it before Kyle was able to change his underwear? Interesting question. Kyle, do you want to answer?
Yeah, I mean, 3.5 hours when I got home from the ER, and I just threw those ones away because they were full.
All right, there you go. Brian Simmons says, how do we keep ourselves from being complacent?
That's a
Great
yeah.
question, and just the whole theme of the show. Before you answer that, also, I want to say thank you to Hot Buttered Steve, who also made a $10 donation. He says, I don't always roll a joint, but when I do, it's my ankle. That might be the comment of the year so far. Hot
I'll give
Buttered
him
Steve,
that.
that's fantastic, and thank you for the $10
Oh.
donation. Did you just steal my joke, Anthony Peregringo? I probably did. I probably did. I'm sorry about that, Anthony. But let's go back
That was
to what
good.
Brian said, which was, how do we keep ourselves from being complacent? Because, it's everything, okay? All these accidents, a lot of them are just complacency, and you can have complacency with it. You can have complacency at work and screw up your job. You can have complacency with your family members and screw up a relationship, or a friend and screw up a relationship. You can have a complacency driving 6 hours from Chicago, get tired at the wheel, and that could be a really bad situation. And of course, you can be complacent when you're flying a paramotor. Kyle, what do you think, man? Two questions. Let's ask this. For one, how do you keep from being complacent? And let's go to training. When you're seeing people that are training, whether it's continuing ed or training for the first time, how do we keep them from being complacent?
When somebody can answer that question with 100% accuracy and something that's foolproof, I'll pay you, because nobody will ever be able to answer that perfectly. But the best way to answer that question is, we have like you said, we have complacency everywhere. You have a step in your house, like a little, one step going from a room to another room. You trip on it once,
Mm-hmm.
you won't do it again for 6 months, and then you do it again. You're complacent with what you're doing. So when it comes to flying, it's even more important. So the way that I do it now, I have a different viewpoint that most don't. Not most, but some don't, because they've never had an incident like that, right? Um, so for me, it's going, okay, add extra altitude. Check what's up here before you go fly, right? What is my plan for this flight? Because my flights are 99% of the time never planned. I just take off and I just go with the feel. How's it going to go? And that can be dangerous. So I think the best thing to manage your complacency is to always check what's in your head and never push it past your personal limits. And then there's the other question that follows that. Well, then how do I get better? How do I learn more stuff? You pick an instructor to teach you, or you do it in a safe environment. So for example, if I was making that turn over water and I would have went in and I had flotation, it would have been embarrassing. I had to clean my motor and I'd have walked away. But it was over a field, right? So I hit the ground instead of water. So being complacent, PPG Pirate, I just read that. Mm-hmm. Complacency is self-awareness and ego awareness. If you have an ego, throw it out the window, right? You don't need it. This sport doesn't care about your ego, how good you are, how much money you have, how much you've trained, how long you've been flying. This sport will
humble you, I'll say that.
Yep, it will humble you. Yeah, I mean, I got nothing else other than that, Ripa. It was accurate, Don't get complacent in what you're doing. It's the same thing with, flying midday. If you're not used to that, or it's, people are doing whatever, you just can't get complacent. You have to think about what you're going to do and think about, is the risk worth the reward in this particular case? Yeah.
Kyle,
I wish I could elaborate more.
You said something there too, and I just said this the other day to Ripa, and to the best of my knowledge, I'll say this again. I don't think I've ever made the same mistake twice, except for maybe going in water. I just realized that as I was saying that, someone was going to hit me down. Let me hit that first. No, but like setting up my trike, there's been times where I forgot to attach the A-line assist. Never did it again. There's times on my trike where the tension line going to the cage, I forgot to put those on. Never did it again. Your colleague Allie spotted in a video that I didn't have my A-line assist to the proper tension. Never did that again. So, it's funny. Unfortunately, we do make these mistakes, and we will make these mistakes. New pilots, you will make mistakes. You'll never be perfect. You can't. But you do learn from them, and hope you never forget them. Having a checklist is a fantastic thing. I don't do that, but mentally I do. But sometimes we forget. John, when have you been complacent? What mistakes have you made?
Oh my gosh. I mean, you don't check your lines. I've had twigs wrapped up in my lines. I've had on ozone gliders, you can twist the 2D steering several times, and that's going to pull your tip in. So when you take off, you're making a turn. But I've been through it all, and I've stepped back, and I take a little more time in my pre-flight. And as Mark Ace just said, it also includes evaluating yourself mentally and physically. So, like tonight, I went to go fly. It was about 10, gusting to
Mm.
13. I easily could have launched and had a nice flight, but I just was feeling tired. I wasn't feeling it. And I fought that feeling, and I finally said, you know what? I'm throwing in the towel. I know I can do this, but I'm just not feeling it. So I stepped back and I didn't do it.
Good for you,
So
man.
I
Good for
missed the
you.
flight, but you know what? Came home, had a nice dinner, and I'm not rushing.
There you
You can
go.
fly tomorrow, man. You can
That's
fly
it.
tomorrow.
That's it. Yep.
Awesome,
You
man.
know, yeah. And that's the biggest thing for me is like, after it happened, um, one of the biggest things for me, I went to the doctor and my mom and dad got me, and the look on my mom's face when they got me was just like, terrifying. Um, you know, her face was terrifying anyway. And I walk in the door once I got home, and my wife is super supportive of what I do, obviously. And I walk in the door, my wife gives me a hug and said, "I'm glad you didn't die."
Mm.
That's all she said to me because she understands that I know. And then I walk into the room and my 5-month-old is sleeping, and I'm
Aw.
like, yeah. So just that alone is enough to make you go, okay,
Whoa.
Good. I had talked to you the next morning, and
yeah,
I'm gonna put you on the spot with what I said to you then. I said, Kyle, I hate to tell you this, buddy, but you're a dad now. And
yeah.
so looking at your baby now, where do you think this does to your flying? Does it change it at all, or does it keep it the same?
And I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna be, some dude on a pedestal saying I'm just gonna fly straight. That's sorry, it's not gonna happen.
No.
But I will reevaluate situations, right? If I want a wingtip drag, flotation and some water, right? That's gonna, you know, my margin there is now a lot less, right? The safety there is there still a chance? Absolutely. Um, Other things, rather than I love doing full power wing overs and swooping, getting
Hmm.
3 feet off the ground, going full power. Let's go to 10 feet. Looks just as cool, feels just as good. And it adds that
Safety margin,
safety margin that you might not have had
although
otherwise.
albeit very slight.
You're
Five
right.
feet or 10
But,
feet is,
and also the other thing that I'm doing that I haven't really told many people, I fly a free ride 14. It's the smallest one they make. That glider, I'm still going to fly it until I get a new one, um, and be a little bit easier on it. But that glider is now going to be reserved for slalom competition, and I'm going to be moving up in a size for my daily driver. Essentially, it's just going to add a little bit extra passiveness, comparatively speaking. I weigh a buck 25, so people are like, "Wow, that's a tiny glider." Well, I don't weigh anything, so it helps.
Hmm.
But just adding those little extra safety margins goes a long way, especially when you start adding them together. It makes a big difference. So,
Another thing, when you and I talked, I know you said that there was something that was on your mind when right before the accident happened, but you really didn't want to talk about it, and you said, David, I can't talk about it. But now that I got you on the spot, maybe now you'll tell us, just because I know you're very adamant about making sure everybody else is safe out there when they're flying. What was it that was on your mind, or I mean, what do you put the blame on this thing for?
I mean, honestly, there's a lot of people that, you could come out and, blame a ton of people for it. But, oh, hang on.
Okay, you okay? What do you got? What's going on, John?
I could blame a lot of people, but, at the end of the day, there's only,
What?
you know,
You blame Todd? Does that say I blame Todd? What does that mean?
well, I mean, Todd he kept texting me. He wouldn't stop texting me,
Are,
and I didn't know what to do.
are you referring to who? Todd, don't John. Todd Falstad or Todd Scandrett?
Well, the Todd that, texts me all the time and bugging me and, telling me to do, more stuff. And, it just got to me.
Wow, so Todd Scandrett. You mean like Resurgence PPG Todd Scandrett?
Oh, yeah, that Todd.
Okay, so for those of you that don't know Todd Scandrett, I don't know, gosh, he's not even here to defend himself. That's really, I'm kind of surprised in you. That's a very hard allegation that you just made. That is his fault of everybody. I mean, you could have died and you're blaming it on him, basically. I'm a little disappointed. I'm not going to say, Kyle. I'm a little disappointed, but uh, for those of you who don't know, Todd Scandrett runs our beloved 501c3PO. C3PO? No, just C3. Resurgence PPG, helping adaptive veterans get up into the air. Wow, I'm a little surprised, but you know, I'm not gonna lie to you, and John, I've never really talked about this. As many of you know you two know that I did, unfortunately, go down at Bad Apples into the lake there, trying to do a foot drag, right? And I don't think I was in the right mind at the time either, Kyle. I was thinking about other things. I was excited. I was hoping to make this foot drag, and I was when I went in, I was on the phone on the comms with my son. I said, "I'm gonna go try this, buddy. Just look out for me." And I looked down. And I was looking at my boots. I was wearing my boots. I didn't have my regular these shoes. These are my flying shoes on, right? There we go. My flying shoes. There you go.
Yeah, but
they match my wing. See, they match my. Wow, they really smell. They match my wing. And I got these because of Todd. Todd is very adamant that everybody's shoes match their wings, right? You have it?
Yeah.
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 So, I was kind of thinking about that, as you were saying this, that it was Todd that I was thinking about when I went down in the waters. So, you know what? Give me 1 second. Kyle,
see, now you can't even yell at me.
I can't. I too blame Todd. I blame Todd for going down in the lake as well. So there's that.
He wasn't there. So
he wasn't even there.
He wasn't there.
He was in my head. He wasn't.
Yeah,
he was in my head. I was complacent because I was thinking about Todd, and wearing the wrong shoes and how disappointed he would be with me. And I just, you got to get this guy out of your head, John Ripa. You got to get this guy out of your head.
Well, how many props has Ripa got?
Ripa's lost a lot of props. How many props?
Quite a few. But you know what? There is one that I have to blame.
What's
you
that?
Know who?
What are you talking about?
That you know who on. So he texted me on a launch, and I ran clear across the field and face planted and broke a cage and a prop because of the text.
Wait, lift your sign up. We can't see the whole thing. Oh my gosh, you too blame Todd. That's crazy, man. You also blame Todd. We all blame Todd. I don't even think he's watching the show right now.
I know, right? He's gonna watch it later on his drive.
I hope he does. So
no,
I guess it's a good rule of thumb in PPG. See, I just burped too. PPG that if you break something, just blame Todd, right?
Yeah. So I'm sure there's some people that are watching that are like, "Wait, are they serious?" I love Todd to death. We just like picking on him. So for anybody who's actually like thinking that we're serious about this, I love Todd.
We love Todd.
I would take a bullet for Todd.
I even love the other Todd, Yankee. Even though he could be a little cranky sometimes, I still love him too. So both Todds, we love you.
There you go.
Oh yeah.
Justin Fox is saying, "Tell Kyle his break is over and we have to mow the runway 1836 tonight."
Pour me a glass. Let's do it.
Colby Cox wants to know what happened to your wing. Is your wing done? Is it in a right shape?
No, it's perfect. It has, if you're wearing jeans, and you slide in the grass, it has grass stains on it. But other than that, it's good to go.
There you go.
Surprisingly, the only thing I need is 2 cage pieces, a net, and a prop.
All right.
My Eclipse, the Fly Products Eclipse, like the lightest one they make, that's aluminum. I didn't even bend the subframe. Like it needed a few little like tweaks to one of the spars, but it's ready to go. Wow. So sweet. I was amazed. My new frame will actually be here tomorrow.
Should we start a GoFundMe for you? Are you good?
No, I'm good.
Okay, good.
I'm good.
All right.
I'm good.
So let's wrap this portion of it up and just talk about for new pilots, when you're seeing people training. Let's do two questions for you. When you see people training, what do they need to do to stay to keep from being complacent and getting into an injury right after they've been trained? And also, because One Up Adventures does adventure trips, and sometimes you may be in an area where you've never, you're most likely always going to be in an area you've never flown, or maybe you're doing paragliding for the first time. What do those pilots need to do to keep from being complacent? I know you said before, how can you answer that question? But what things should you be thinking about those times?
Honestly, the best thing that, in my opinion, is learn from those that are more experienced than yourself. Watch my video. We all know some other guys in the sport that have been in accidents, like mine or worse than mine, or not as serious, things like that. Learn from them, yield that advice. I may look like I'm 12, but I have a lot of experience in this sport and understanding how quickly it can go wrong and understanding those things. So when we talk about it, learn that Dunning-Kruger effect that we talk about. It goes up and down, up and down. Learn that, heed the advice. Don't just, oh, I'm getting good, watch safety class. Part of doing this is watch the crash videos and understand, like, analyze it. A lot of guys do the reacting to crash videos, and then they talk about what went wrong. But a lot of the times they talk about, like, oh, he just pulled brake or he just did this. Nobody talks about what's going on in their head that day. Did a family member, something happen to a family member? Did they have a bad day at work? Are they arguing with their wife? Or, whatever the case may be, you really have to think about those things. And to keep these new students, I feel like I'm actually a better teacher because of this. It helped. Honestly, it's hard to go as far as to say, like, I'm glad it happened, but to be honest, I'm glad it did, because it made me be able to step back and go, that's bad. Let's not do that. And now I can teach those who are coming up in, say, my shoes, because there's pilots out there that are like Wyatt, like the kid's 11. He's a star. Like, he's going to be a great pilot, and he's already a great pilot. So, people like that, and I know he's working with Minyard, and that's an awesome thing because he has a mentor that knows how quickly things can go wrong. And he's been trained by those, a good instructor. And keeping our students out of that it's difficult, but being that I have had this injury, I can now speak from experience on how to negate those effects. And I wish that more would take that. And we need to look out for each other. If you're at a fly-in and you see Billy doing something he shouldn't be doing, call him out. I don't care if you make him mad. I don't care if he doesn't like you after that. 6 months from now, a week from now, a year from now, whatever, he's going to come back to you and say, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yep.
So I don't care. I would rather lose a friend and save him from going through what I went through than don't say anything and going, I wish I could have changed that.
Yeah, and share the stories. Just share your story just like Kyle is. I'll tell you another great advocate of this is a guy that you're spending time with right now, who is out there at Fly My PPG, Mike Cotter, who got into a very bad accident. But in the training that Fly My PPG does, he always talks about what happened to him and how lucky he is to still be alive. So share those stories, not to scare anybody, but to give everybody pause and second thoughts before they go do something. So there was 2 similar questions here in the chat. SkyTap Angel Andy Fuller wants to know, where can I get one of those I blame Todd shirts? And then right after that, I think Daniel Roush also said, where can I get one of those shirts? I think there may have been some others, but I don't see them. We talked about this. But we talked about this. So yes, your wife did a great job, sent me the thing. So we both made our shirts. But I might be able to convince Todd to get it on the website. I think you should, because Kyle Mooney did start the Shut Up Todd shirts. I don't know how. I think I got the first one because I was so excited by it, and a lot of people got them, and it all raised money for Resurgence PPG. So I think we can get you. I'll let you take the ball on that one to get Todd to put it up on the website, and he'll do anything to raise money for Resurgence PPG. You know what? It's all in good fun. Todd is an amazing human being. And honestly, it's just for me, if I don't like somebody, I won't pick on them. So when I pick on you, that's just how I am. That's my personality. So, nothing. Kyle likes me a lot. Ask Todd how he feels. So, Chris Fenimore, I'm going to answer this question for you. Chris Fenimore wants to know, are Kyle's hugs as good as Todd's? The answer is not even close. I mean, first of all, it's like having 2 twigs around you versus having this big blanket surround you. So there's that. Walter Pereira says, by the time I get your sticker, that has nothing to do with the show, Walter. Come on. All right. You'll get your stickers, Walter. All right, cool. Very cool. All right, so that is what's going on. I think that's a good way to wrap up the whole complacency thing. Just be safe, everybody. Please be safe. And speak up. Yeah. Speak up. Yeah. Please speak up. Make a video. And actually, one thing, David, before we get rolling, yes, sir. I'm actually working on it's like a list, essentially, but it is going to include, it's going to come out in the coming week or 2, I hope.
It's going to be a list of instructors that are trustworthy, have potentially been through something, and it's going to be listed in the paramotor group. It's going to be stickied to the top, and it's going to be a list talking about complacency and talking about incidences and things like that. And it's going to have a list of all of these instructors that, if you know one of them and say you were complacent and you made a mistake and you don't want to go public, because to be honest, it's embarrassing. It really is. But it's going to be a place that you can, you call that instructor and say, hey, this is what happened to me, and I want to know why I did that, and they can help you work through it.
Yeah.
And then they can share your story if you don't want to go public with it, because that's fine. And I get that. But it's important that everybody's stories get out there, small, big, whatever. Share it with each other, because I am so sick of hearing somebody did this, somebody did that, and it's like it's not getting better. This year has been a complete
terrible.
mess.
Terrible.
And I am sick of that. And somebody needs to do something. And I went through it, and I'm like, I'm done. I'm done with that. We're going to make this safer because it needs to happen.
So here's my thought on that. I think we need to lead by example. So with that being said, maybe not try to influence these new pilots, maybe do some stuff away from them, not in front of them so much, stuff like that.
Yeah, and that can be a thing. You have new students, and we go for a rip, and they see you flying around. And one thing that we do, and we do that for the students, they love to see it.
Sure.
But one thing that we pound into them is, I've been flying for 10 years, right? I have a ton of experience. Most of you will never get to a certain stage, whether it's, age or time flying. Like, I've spent the last 4 years flying every day, and that's more than most people fly in like their lifetime, just because they don't have that opportunity and they don't teach flying. So, it's a totally different ball game. So, that's part of it. And we pound that into them, and most of them will see that and they're like, no, I'm good. I just want to cruise, So it's an important aspect of it.
Very good. Thank you on that. All right, let's go talk over to Oshkosh. Is coming up here very shortly. What's going on with Kyle Mooney, Oshkosh, and friends?
Yeah, so lots of friends, right?
Who are those friends? Can you talk about those friends?
I can. So team name is Arrhythmia, right? We are performing at Oshkosh this year, and it's an aerobatic team, but it's also a demonstration team. So for this particular one, we're not doing aerobatics. We're actually going there to showcase the sport of paramotoring as a group. And it's not just, it's actually me, Travis Burns, Allie, Todd is on the team, and Justin Fox, and Scott and Steve Baxter from Midwest Parajet. And it's a very diverse group with older, younger, males, females. And the goal here is to showcase this to everybody, because when they see us going up there and doing sats and tumbles, and it looks out of reach for the average Joe, right? So our goal is to be able to go there and say, anybody can do this. You really can. And it was a really cool thing. I just saw actually Anthony Peregringo. I like the name Arrhythmia. Funny thing, Todd came up with the name. We were chatting, and Todd came up with the name, and he actually came up with the logo. So Arrhythmia, there's obviously arrhythmia, which is, an irregular heartbeat. And this is an actual heartbeat on this shirt, on our jerseys. And we wanted something that people, a medical person or, an EMT would see that shirt and go, I recognize that, and it's a cool. And Todd said, tagline, make your heart skip a beat. And I'm like, yeah, you're not wrong. And it was something that we really wanted to do. I was asked quite a while ago to put a team together, and I've been working a long time with a lot of people, and Alexis Quintana. Yep. Justin. Thank you, Justin. And it's funny because Alexis actually built the website and did all of that, and she's been awesome. And having all of these, such a diverse group of people is amazing. It's not just a small group of people that fly together all the time. It's everywhere. And I will be expanding the team eventually. And we're just really excited to be able to do this and have a good time.
Yep. I know in talking with our friend Tim Gaskins, from down in the Bad Apples, branch manager. He wanted to know, he's going to be at Oshkosh. He wanted to know what stage are you guys going to be on?
We are on the ultralight field.
Okay.
We fly Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday.
Awesome. Cool.
Which is good. Most of us are going to be hanging around the ultralight field, Midwest, the Midwest Parajet booth. We'll be hanging out with them. We'll be everywhere. You'll see the Arrhythmia hats. We have some koozies to give away, and then of course, if you want to find us and you can't see us, look for the very bright pink jersey.
Nice.
And that'll be one of us. Todd's is a little bit bigger.
Oh my gosh. So we can blame Todd for that. That's a good thing to blame him.
Yes.
Very, very cool. Shall we give something away? Let's give something away. Let's give something away. I'm going to go over here. So my daughter Addison, thanks to her for putting this all together. I'm going to actually be holding the camera, so if it moves a little bit, I apologize. As we've done in the last couple of weeks, you can see the list. This is going to make everybody sick with me moving. I'm sorry. Again, we just put the show together like very quickly right as I got home. But you can see on the right there all the list of the available prizes. A lot of T-shirts here. We're trying to clear house. We'll get some new prizes in here as soon as we get rid of the old ones. But let's spin the wheel. Make sure nobody puts in the chat who won until it comes out.
John.
John. All right, let's take a look. And then as soon as you see your name, go ahead and put in there the prize that you want or claim it for yourself. By the way, again, congratulations to Justin Fox and his daughter and friends for becoming the newest pilots out there. That's awesome. Oh,
they did phenomenal.
Look at this. Look at this. Columbus boy, JP Tulo.
No, wow. Respin doesn't count.
Why is that?
I don't know.
Oh. JP's all right. JP,
nah, I love JP.
That was a quick spin. Again, I had to put this whole together. JP Tulo, congratulations. Tell me what you want from that list. I'm actually going to be in Columbus next week for another lacrosse tournament, so maybe I was actually going to reach out to you. I know Sean Nasker, I reached out to him and maybe try to do some flying one morning. So JP, I know, is up there on the weekend, so I can bring it to you. Just shoot me a text. You got Resurgence PPG.
Todd is here.
Todd.
You missed it, Todd.
You know what? The show.
He's like, I'm out.
The show could have been so good if only, but everybody show your sign. I blame Todd. He's probably going, what the hell is that, Todd? What are they talking about?
Yeah, he's going to have to rewind and watch it.
I blame Todd. I blame Todd for running so late tonight. I was driving and I was thinking about Resurgence PPG and it drove slower, so I would have been here so much sooner.
Well, Todd should be driving to where I'm at, but
that's right.
He's not here yet.
Where's he? Where's he at? You don't know?
I no idea.
Oh. Check the donut shop. Anyways,
Chris Fenimore. They're roasting you.
Chris Fenimore. There you go. What else we got, boys? That was I think we kind of went through the show pretty quick, but we hit it all.
Then that was awesome. I got echo.
The JP, you got to go?
No, I got echo.
Oh, you got an echo. Okay. Is JP in the chat still? Because if he's not here, he loses it. Is he there? Did he claim it?
Yeah, he's in there. He's around.
I mean, he's got to say, yes, I want the prize or something like that, right? Otherwise, he might have just zipped off. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, if he doesn't claim it, we'll give away 2 next week. How's that sound?
I just saw Justin's comment. It's a special moment when your child runs into the sky. It was so cool.
Oh, yeah.
And actually, what
tell Justin to come in. Bring Justin in.
If he's watching, Justin, get in the camper.
Justin, come on in here, buddy. I want to hear about it. I'm so excited for you.
Yeah, a cool thing about it was what hasn't been said yet. It was Justin's daughter.
Yeah.
His daughter's best friend, who's
cool.
13. Her mom, and then Justin's wife.
Wow, how fun!
So yeah, it was pretty awesome to see that. And I was here, Justin was on the tow rig. I was talking him up on tows, and then the next day we were getting him in the air, and the initial thought was like, he just wanted to get him to kite and tow and be comfortable, and then a little later maybe get him to fly. And he brought me over, and we're like, man, it's beautiful outside. Perfect wind, little 5-6 miles an hour. And inflated the glider, and away they went. And we're like, they're going, they did awesome.
That's awesome.
And it was funny. We started tagging each other on Instagram and stuff, and then their little profiles already say PPG pilot under it, and it's a really cool thing because that's the next generation.
Yeah.
And I'm excited for that when my kid's old enough to be able to get them into the sky.
So Travis launched my son for the first time on foot launch.
Yeah.
Which was awesome. I think we've talked to him before. I think it was other guests. We've talked about saying you shouldn't train with or you shouldn't launch your own child, your own family member. I mean, how do you feel about that, Kyle? Would you launch your wife at this point?
Yeah, I think I would.
Okay.
You know, it's harder.
Oh my God.
It's nerve wracking. Like I think that would be the most nervous part of it.
Okay.
But at the same time, I would love to. You know, I know my mom would love to do it. My sister wants to do it. First, I got to get them on tandems, but you know, my mom's already done a tandem. My
Yeah.
sister never has. So,
Okay.
you know, yeah, I would love to do that. And this will be the next one. This is Aubrey. She's the youngest.
Yeah, Aubrey.
Justin's here too.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I've met Aubrey before. I met her. Hey, Justin. By the way, if you need a
Hang on, he can't hear you. One
Oh,
second.
yeah, put the earpiece in. But I'm gonna give a plug here because if you need a reserve, I bought mine from Justin Fox. He'll hook you up right, get you the right gear. So I love this man right here. I love both of these men. What's up, buddy? I miss you. I wish I was there, man. I wanted to come up so bad this week.
Yeah,
we invited him.
We did. You
I
know,
know.
we want everybody up here. You're not supposed to be up here. It's just.
I told Mike I
you know,
didn't. I told Mike I didn't invite this fly-in this time. This wasn't me.
Yeah, no, it's all good. It's you know, we have to run and maintain and you know be civil.
Uh-oh, we're losing you guys a little bit.
Justin's taking all the bandwidth.
Justin's taking up the bandwidth.
Give it back to Kyle.
Can you guys hear me? Oh no.
Oh,
Hang on.
Back to you, Dave.
Move around so I know it's not frozen. What happened? Justin comes in. There you go. All right, we got Justin now. But get Kyle out of there. Come on in, Justin.
got Kyle Mooney right here. Oh, look at that.
Yeah,
All right.
that's me. No, I don't know. My phone has been running great, so I'm not sure.
All right.
Yeah.
Justin, how Justin, how was
said,
it? There you go. Now it's working. It's working. It's
Hey,
working.
Tom.
So, Justin, tell us about the experience.
I came in here. I want to take over the show. I saw, yeah, it was a very special moment training my child to fly. You know, I know, David, you had your son, Brennan, he's flying now, and it's being the instructor, you know, it's one thing when your people sign up for a class and, you know, they come expecting to learn to fly and you don't have that connection with them. And then to have your child be interested and want to fly. And I've worked with my daughter over the past few years, just not really. I wanted to know if she wanted this. So we would, you know, we'd practice a little kiting. It wasn't really formal. So when she still, you know, she kept wanting this and I knew she was too young, you know, mentally, maturity wise. I didn't know how far to take it. I wanted to keep, you know, working with her a little here and there, you know, see if she wanted this. And she wanted it. And we put together a class, kind of like a secret class with a few ladies. And I had, you know, my wife, my daughter, and my buddy's wife and his daughter. And we had Susan from North Carolina come up. So I had 5 ladies in the house, and we started from the beginning. I put them through the Fly My PPG regiment. And, you know, by the end of the week, we had everybody flying. And I just, it blows my mind that, for one, that my daughter really took it seriously. And it's a little bit of a struggle when it's your child and you're the instructor, and there has to be that that level of leadership. You know, I don't know, you could just children have a sense of nerves in the way they show their emotions through the training. Like we had to work through a lot of different things, I guess. I don't know. It's just I had to be the leader and show her that this was important. You had to listen and to gain that trust as not just her father, but like I am your instructor here, and we have to.
And that's what I was trying to say there to Kyle, is that can be tough because there, like, I'll be working with my daughter on kiting, and she'll start having sorry if you're watching this, a temper tantrum, and I'm like, okay, I can't be dad right now. I'm trying to instruct you, or even that, even if that's with lacrosse, I'm trying to work with the lacrosse. And it's amazing that you made that. But I think you hit a key word right there too, is the maturity level. And when is it the maturity? With Brennan, Brennan's an extremely mature kid. We knew he was going to be fine. The other one's coming up, maybe not as fast, but they're ready. I mean, I talked to my daughter. I said, Justin's training his daughter as we speak. She just made her first launch. This was in the car the other day. And I said, you want to do it? Yeah, I want to do it. Back to her phone. I'm like, okay, you're not ready. You got to prove to me. You got to really get out there and do a lot of kiting because, it's a big investment to buy more gear. It is a big investment, and that's the hard part too. So there's that as well. How much are you really going to do it? I know I want you to fly, my God. And part of for me has been with that amazing Flash Cruiser and being able to take her up and train her. Because every time I take her up or my other daughter up, I'm giving them the toggles and I'm working with them. And I want to see, are you really passionate about it? And of course, with what you're doing, being a trainer yourself, it may be a little bit easier for you to do that. But my gosh, man, what a thrill it is. And I'll tell you this, the best flights I ever had where my son and I were flying side by side. That to me was the best thing. And I'm sure, have you flown yet with your wife and your daughter up in the air?
Not side by side.
We had 5 students and 2 instructors.
Yeah.
And we're just,
my daughter, she's at flight number 3, right? So she has a lot of work to do, but luckily, I have lots of equipment.
You got a lot of time. You got access to a field.
We're going to keep, but I can't wait. And she loves it. And it was not the daughter that I expected to really want to do this and love it. And she, we put her in different sports, and it was paramotor that drew her attention. And I mean, it started with the tandems. I mean, we do tandems together, and it was an instructional flight with my daughter. I would take her up in the sky, and I would give her, whether it was the controls, or we would talk about situational awareness, or we would practice maneuvers and, oscillation control. We've done that over the last couple of years, and she just loved flying with me, and she now wants to be a paramotor pilot, and I absolutely,
that's awesome.
I love that. So now these trips that I get to go on and traveling the country and flying different places, I mean, how special is it to, share this with, our friends and now my family. So it was special.
It's amazing.
No,
so,
it was awesome. It was awesome
Thank
to be
you,
here.
Kyle, for running down from Minnesota to help me, because I started this class, thinking I can take on, 2 wives and 2 daughters by myself. I will do this. And, I brought in Kyle and Bob Harris, my instructor. He's known about it for a while. And I was like, Bob, I might need you. I know it's your week off because we have a pretty, strict schedule going on in the summer, and we only get, a week off here and there to be at home with our families. And with the help of Bob and Kyle, we were able to get things done. So,
hey man, I just showed up and it's like, hey, we're towing tomorrow. I'm like, let's do it. We're getting it flying. Let's go. It was awesome. It was cool to be a part of it. Cause I mean, I've hung out with them before too, but it's cool to see them kind of, I guess, bloom is the right word. They came from like kiting, and then, like you said, when you have dad, it's hard to not be fully serious all the time, but you have to be. And it's like, no, this is serious. We're making it serious. And they took it that way, and it was awesome.
Yep.
It was awesome to see.
That's good. So. That's really good. And I'll tell you right now, that's why I brought Brennan down to Florida to meet up with Mike and Travis at the time, because I just don't feel like I can do it. Well, first of all, I'm not an instructor. I'd rather have a professional do it than try to teach my own kid. Okay. I mean, technically,
I had to compartmentalize with a lot of the emotion and set that aside. And, I know I'm an instructor and I'm a good instructor. So set the emotion aside, train the student, get her to fly. And the family stuff comes afterwards, and we'd have good debriefs. And then it was normal family stuff when we weren't training. So it was good stuff.
Justin, one more question for you in regards to this. It's one of my favorite parts of watching a first flight is that first moment that they land. What was the emotions like?
I had thought about it a lot beforehand, and again, it was it was good. Was it? I was proud. Um, I was very nervous. I can see it when we do a lot of video debriefing, and I can hear it in my words as far as like the
Little shaky voice, and
it was just the things I was saying. I was really double checking, triple checking, making sure everything was okay. And the flying really is the easy stuff. And she was a good listener, and I could tell as soon as she was taking off that this was going to be a good flight. She was going to listen very well, and of course,
they like the beans.
And I wouldn't have put her in the air if I felt anything other than she was going to be a good listener. I mean, we have a lot of stuff we do on the ground, work that we do on the ground.
Well, we talked about it.
Is going to prepare them for, what it's going to be like in the sky. And like, there's some simulations that we go through that is, it's good practice for that instructor-student relationship, and a lot of the ways they're going to act in the sky, I can see it on the ground now. So I knew she was going to be good. So I had a lot of confidence in her ability, and really it was good flight on the ground. Emotional, like, did I tear up and cry? And I thought maybe I would, because sometimes when I see her doing amazing things, like, that's just what a parent does. Right. But I think I was just very proud, and it was hugs and
awesome.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, I've had I'm proud of all my students, but this one was
nobody's gonna fault you for having a favorite student, especially when it's your daughter.
Of course. So I want to ask you one other question, Justin, then we'll let you go. This show was about complacency being devastating, and Kyle was kind enough to share his story of what happened to him just a couple weeks ago. Did you ever have an incident where you yourself was complacent and it led to something where you got hurt?
No. So I've never been hurt in this sport. So when we talk about, exactly, the Dunning-Kruger effect, the pit of misery where, Kyle was at 14 days ago. I've thought about that a lot. Like, I know it can happen. It probably will happen at some point. So I went through that beginner immediate stage. I was self-taught. I learned in my backyard. I was pretty good. Did I have good? I had a lot of bad habits, but I was still a good pilot in the air. I would do some crazy stuff. Would I do it the right way? Nowadays, like, the right way to do acro? No, I didn't. But I watched the trends. I watched the people getting hurt. I saw, what not to do. And I was growing, not only as a pilot, but I wanted to be an instructor. So I was going through those avenues, and I've dialed a lot of things back. When I fly, do I do stupid stuff? Yes, I think we all do. And it's like, have I been hurt? I haven't. So just the pilot I was this winter is different. The things I've done just this winter, like I've taken a step back, because I've done, it's just crazy stuff. And like, I've learned, and now that I see, and when like Kyle was hurt, like, do I stop and think, and like,
it makes you think.
Yes.
It makes you think, whether it's a friend or just somebody that and it makes you like stop and go, okay. And the closer it hits to home, whether it's, good friends or whether it's just somebody in the community, the closer it hits to home, the bigger of an effect it has on you.
Yeah.
And the biggest effect that you can pretty much have is, a family member or yourself. Yeah. I mean, in my mind, that's what affects it the most.
Yeah. I was down at Aviator one time, and, Eric Farewell was talking to me, and he told me, he's like, you're up in Michigan. I fly alone a lot of the time. I'm a good pilot. He's like, that's probably like one of the worst places to be at, because you don't really have a mentor. You are the mentor for the other pilots. They look up to you. So you're flying in a fashion, like, I'm not learning really from anybody. I'm kind of, I'm teaching myself. So those words like stuck with me. It was just, And when I think about Kyle and his incident up there in Minnesota, when you think of like normalization from deviance, being complacent, like he doesn't have anybody up there. I didn't have anybody to tell me to slow down. They were looking at what I did, mentoring from me, and we
Same
mentor from Kyle, right? We see the way he flies, and we strive to be that person. So it's hard, when you see Kyle or Kyle or someone else sees me flying in a fashion that maybe is too aggressive. They just think that they know what they're doing. That's okay. Maybe someday I can fly like that too. That would be great. I mean, cheap thrills in this sport, like we all know, like
You just pull.
Yeah. I mean, it's easy to fly aggressively. To do it in a safe manner is tough, is really the tough part. So, I didn't have that. I had some people, luckily this sport, you meet like the people that I mentor, whether it's, really social media or however I see these people, we're all friends now. And to have these talks, these little talks from people, certain things stuck, but, I try to learn and grow, and sometimes I fall into the traps. We all do it, and we regress a little bit, and it's up to our friends to really step in. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that Kyle is one of the best in the world. As far or best in the world. Jesus
That'd be
Christ.
great. Thanks,
Wow.
dude.
This, but it's up to us. We should all remain humble, and I know Kyle's humble. I try to be humble, and we should all be humble. And people have come up to me and said things to me.
Yeah. If I think it's dumb,
Yeah.
I mean, me and Justin have had a lot of good times. But if it's a bad idea, then
Brody.
we'll tell each
Yeah.
other. If it's truly
Right.
bad, we'll let
Yeah.
each other know.
Yes.
I have a quote that I saw. His name's Pukana on Instagram. He's a pilot. He's an amazing dude. I've watched his Instagram. He had a quote, and it was, "I am more scared of flying now than I was when I started because I know what I'm capable of."
Yeah,
That's good.
Great quote.
And
Great
it's
quote.
yeah,
Because
it's
that
the
is
most
it.
thing ever
Yeah.
because honestly, it's true. I know I can do whatever I want, but I know that there's consequences for that. So yeah, I am more scared to fly now than I was when I first started because
Sure.
I know
Same.
exactly what I
You
can
were
do.
fearless in the beginning, yeah.
Yeah, and now
Right.
I'm
Yeah.
not fearless, but I know what I'm capable of
Yeah.
doing, and I know that could be really bad.
Yeah.
Stay away
For
from the
sure.
barley. Stay away from the
Yeah.
barley. That's great.
Yeah.
Justin and Kyle both gave both great instructors. I know because I've worked with both of them, and they both gave a very similar message. So thank you both for that. I want to go ahead and we're going to wrap up here soon, but there's a couple comments I was going to read here. People ask, this is from John Rivera. He says, Kyle, besides the last incident, was there an other close call that you had that you can share that may help us make the same, let's start over that. Kyle, besides the last incident, was there another close call that you had that you can share that may help us not make the same mistake? Glad you weren't hurt. Thanks. Any other close calls?
Yeah. I guess my two actually. So one was several years ago. I actually have a video of this one, which I could share later in the future. But early morning, me and Travis were flying. He was recording from above, and I had a GoPro on my head. And it was dead calm out. And I go to, ironically enough, wingtip drag a pond. And when I did that, I clipped the cage. Half the prop got destroyed, and I broke the frame, or I broke the net.
Oh.
I actually pulled out from that, and I flew away, and I flew back, and I landed with half a prop and half a net, and I flew back. All I would have done was, well, there was about 10 gators in it, so I would have landed in that, but I was okay, and I actually played it off as a joke. I was like, yeah, whatever, cool, and Travis pretty much smacked me in the face. So that one. And then another one was actually probably a week prior to my accident. I was ripping down just wing overs down low. And when I went left, and when I came down, I actually had to bump both brakes to pop myself up. Otherwise I would have hit the ground. And that kind of made me go, whoa, okay, step back. And I did step back. My incident was, different than that. I was turning and I just got complacent.
Who do you blame for those issues, those things that happen? Do you blame you blame Todd? Oh, okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. There is another question here. This comes from Mr. Trike Flyer, Dave Ruff. Hey, buddy. Miss you, man. Question for Dave Wolf. This has been answered. Does Kyle fear turning low now or more healthy respect for it? Very good question.
Do I fear it? No. Healthy respect? Absolutely. If I were to come to you and say, no, it's all good, I would be an idiot. If you can't have an incident, whether it's forgetting to tighten your prop bolts, a leg strap, or a helmet strap, whatever, and you're just like, it's not a big deal and you don't learn from it, that's complacency. That's you not understanding what went wrong and trying to understand things. So, no, am I scared of it? No, I'm not scared. I just have I have much more respect and a much healthier respect for those things.
Yeah.
We love to have a good time, but at the end of the day, I want him to go home to his kids and I want to go home to mine.
And I tell Kyle, if he would have been on a 12-meter wing, this wouldn't have been a thing.
So maybe I got to go smaller. I don't know.
There you go. I love this comment here, and that's why it's up right now. Walter Perori says, "You dads are cool. Love families that fly." Oh my gosh, Justin, the best are yet to come for you, man. The best is yet to come for you. Wait till you're up there with them.
Built a pink with sparkle paramotor. The colors are picked out. I got pink and purple.
Sparkles.
With sparkles.
I have a feeling Allie might have helped.
Yeah, right?
Right.
Yep.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, congratulations.
But that's going to be a special, thing to build them a paramotor.
Awesome. Again, Skyfox.
Yeah.
Skyfox.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, guys, thank you so much for being here. I know we brought you in impromptu there, Justin, but, I do also know that the field's got to get cut. So you guys got to start doing some mowing.
Yeah, next pilot right there.
There she is.
She's only 11, but she's next.
Hey, it's fine. Like, our daughters are the same age. I got to get Addison up in the air, and our Jillian's dying to. She loves going on the tandem for introductory flights with me. So, cool. Yeah, I saw Aubrey fly when I was out there last time. So that was when Greg and Cynthia and the whole group was out there. Cool. Guys, thank you so much. We're going to do an after show. If you want to join in,
guys.
we'll put the code up here in just a second. But guys, thanks so much. Any last updates? What's going on with FlyMy? Is there any available open? 2 questions. What's going on with FlyMy? Sure. Any open spots for upcoming classes? And number 2, Justin, tell us about the FlyMy PPG fly-in that's coming up here. I have the dates. If you don't know them, I can look it up real quick. And where it's at. You want to talk about that? I'm gonna put you on the spot. Oh, he's like, crap, David.
No, that's fine. So yeah, there's there's always going to be openings available for FlyMy. I know. So I have AirVenture coming up. I am a volunteer for EAA. I'm also in charge of all the PPG shenanigans on the ultralight field. So I'll be hosting this class right now. We'll be teaching, and then we have a few days to get up to Oshkosh and start practicing with Arrhythmia, and then I'll be setting up for AirVenture. So I hope to see a lot of paramotor pilots out there. We're expecting a lot of paramotor pilots to come to AirVenture. So if you don't know what AirVenture is, or Oshkosh, in Oshkosh, it's the biggest air show in the world. And we as paramotor pilots are welcome to fly there. We have our time slot to fly. It's a wonderful thing to be able to fly at the biggest air show in the world. After that, I think we have a class. Mom. We have a class starting in early August. Openings available, I'm sure. And then we'll be down in Minerva, Ohio with One Up Adventures and hosting a class down there.
Stop typing, Kyle. Okay.
So we'll be hosting a class in Minerva, Ohio with One Up. We have students down there, and then we'll be back up to FlyMy. We finish out in the end of September because October is hunting season around here, and
they don't like when you fly.
They do not like, maybe we're scaring the deer towards them, maybe we're scaring them away. I don't know, but like we do not train when it's hunting season up here because they're pretty. I
don't want any holes in my bladder
about that. So, so we'll be shutting down for the season, and then we'll be back down in Florida with One Up. But yeah,
September 9th through the 12th.
Is that our flying?
September 9th through the 12th. Yeah, at Walters. I'll take it from here. Go ahead.
It's again a beautiful place to fly. If you haven't flown in Michigan, a lot of people don't come to Michigan because you just don't drive through the state. I mean, there's not really an interstate. There is, but people normally stay south. it's not really a destination place to fly or come to. Michigan is absolutely beautiful.
Gorgeous.
We have a lot of terrain. I mean, we have like these big bodies of water. If anybody's heard of the Great Lakes, I mean, spectacular shoreline, terrain, sand dunes, hiking. You know, we fly in the mornings. We one wheel in the daytimes on the state park, the trail systems. We swim in the lakes. It's just, it's a beautiful place to visit. So, you know, Walters RC Park. It's I don't know. It's about 120 acre field. He has a lake. Last year we hosted an SIV course with Chris Santa Croce, where we had a motor on SIV course.
Yeah.
Great field to fly from. It's just a beautiful place to fly. We're not doing the SIV this year, just logistically too much. But if the flying event takes on again this year like it did last year, then we'll probably stagger it every other year, having a motor on SIV, which SIV courses are great, but like to do a SIV motor on,
There's a lot that goes into
there's a
it.
lot more technicality with it. And you know, having Chris in your ear talking is, I mean, he's a great instructor. So
I'll tell you this about RC.
We'll probably get that.
I'll tell you about this about the flying though. Todd Scandrett knows where to find all the pot fields. He flew over. He made me fly over the pot fields with him.
There is that in Michigan.
We didn't partake.
You know?
We just flew over them. It was awesome. One of my favorite flights. Cool. Well, thank you both so much for helping to hopefully save somebody's life tonight, talking about how complacency can be devastating. Your experiences, Justin, congratulations to you and your family again. I can't wait to see you guys in a couple of weeks. Hopefully very, very soon, if not at a fly-in sooner. Purdon or Moonshiners?
Yeah, Purdon's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. All right, cool. And I'm going to try to get up to Minerva as well, if I can find a way.
Oh, yeah. Come up to Minerva when we're training.
I
mean,
so.
The students love having the paramotor pilots come and visit. And, you know, Minerva Flight Test is located there.
They're awesome dudes.
Yeah, they're great guys, and
guys.
they love paramotor pilots, and they want to.
They are paramotor pilots.
Yeah,
some of the flight test guys.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah, Bixler.
Yeah. I was like,
so I mean, yeah, they have a great facility. They want more paramotor activity, and I mean, it's a beautiful place to fly as well. You know.
Yeah.
He has the same last name, and his name Daryl, but like it's pretty cool.
There you go. Oh, one more thing too, and I'm going to put someone on the spot, and then we're going to wrap the show up. But one more thing about the Fly My PPG fly-in. There's a certain lady who's going to make her first flight. It's going to be an introductory flight. I'm taking her up. She better be there because she moved to Michigan, and that's Robert Michael's mother, Linda Anderson.
Nice.
So we're all pulling for her to get herself there so she can make her first flight.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right, Johnny, we're wrapping it up. Yes?
Guys, great show. Thanks for having.
Thanks
for
guys.
coming on.
I hope somebody can take something good away from it, and whether it's speaking up or making a better choice for yourself, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Stepping up too.
Yeah.
To other pilots. You know,
Don't be afraid.
Yeah. We need to keep everybody in check. I mean, it's important. We self-regulate. That's the body of our sport.
Let's make sure we do that.
You know, I respect every one of you, and you know, let's just keep this sport what it is, and let's try to keep
it safe. It's been a terrible year.
Yeah.
We really have to look out for each other.
Yeah. All right, guys. We'll see you next week. We're going to go to after show. I'll post the codes up here in just a second. Thank you again, guys. Talk to you later.
Bye.